Yellow just walking in the house in my road, gotta make her put it on. She don't like wearing clothes, just left Concord, North Carolina. I was licking on booty and a whole lot of vagina. Eat a boozer with some ice cream, she'll remember you. Ice Cube make it chip, shiver like the winter do.
See me with the crew, I done get some food. I see you looking like you do. Had to make a move, make a move.
Yeah, so I really believe Tekashi 6ix9ine was an agent from the beginning. I mean, I've been looking all over the internet. I've been seeing different clips and stuff like that, and honestly, I was kind of becoming a fan during his little rise because I was blinded by the smoke and mirrors, but it's very clear that this guy was an agent from the beginning. Okay, so let me run you guys down a little bit of a timeline, and I got a couple reasons that lead me to 110% believe that Tekashi was an agent since the beginning. He was a plant from and he was used to help infiltrate a black organization and also at the same time be used as a face to take over the minds and hearts of the people, especially the children. And right now, they're trying to use him to make him even more famous and more recognizable and loved. So without further ado, I'm gonna just get straight to it, man. Okay, so Tekashi 6ix9ine was trying to get lit. Let's take it back to when he had a song with Trippie Redd. I forgot what the song is. But I remember watching this song and I kind of liked it. And I was like, who is this loud Spanish kid? You know, it kind of reminded me of Meek Mill, a little bit of Onyx, you know, stuff like that. And it seemed like he maybe would have something there. You know, his sound and his beat picking abilities weren't there yet. But he had the song with Trippie Redd, and then I just remember seeing at some point him and Trippie Redd beginning to have beef on the internet. And the reason why they began to have beef on the internet, which I'm still kind of leaning on the side that it maybe started out as publicity for both of them to get lit because they're still signed to the same label and were signed to the same label at that time. But I think it got real after a certain point. But what really made him go viral was the fact that Trippie Redd exposed him for catching a charge with I guess dealing with minors in a I guess unpleasant manner. The proper words describing this term escapes my mind right now, but basically he was trying to go viral. He was going hard. He was slam dunking bitches on beds. He was doing all type of wild shit, and eventually he was in Brooklyn with some dudes. He was about 18 at the time. He tried to say he was younger than that, but he was 18 and the girl was 13. I don't know how you can see a girl that's 13 and not know she's 13. I don't care about any hormones in the chicken or no shit like that. When a girl is 13, you can see in her face that she is 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, he gets exposed for that. DJ Academics takes a liking to him, brings him for an interview on his channel. Okay, this is the beginnings of Tekashi 6ix9ine blowing up. Now, shortly after that, and I assume in the midst of him going to court, fighting this charge, which even if he didn't do time, he would definitely have to cop a plea and still register as a sex offender. Now, he's still rising, and at some point, he gets familiar with Treyway, which is basically an extension of the Dying Trey Bloods from Brooklyn, New York. Now, it's clear to see that they seen him as a cash cow, and they said, we might put some money behind him, we're gonna put some muscle behind him, and we're gonna get him popping in the street, because he was kind of already lit, but just not in the street. And you need to be lit in the street to take over New York. So I'm pretty sure that they seen that, and then they started to deal with him in that regard. But this is what I think. I think that while he was fighting that charge, people who are higher up and were the feds, I believe that the feds came to him and they said, listen, we know you have this charge, and this charge is gonna ruin your career. You won't be rich, you won't be famous. You'll either go to jail and then come home and be a sex offender, or you'll take a plea and be a sex offender. But here's what we want you to do. We understand that you're affiliated with the 9 Trey Bloods in Brooklyn. So what we would like you to do is get information on them. See if you could get involved with them doing any kind of criminal activity. And then I want you to bring that information to us. And once we have enough information and we're ready to book them, we'll tell you when it's time for you to get away from them. And in exchange for you helping us bring down Treyway, the 9 Trey Bloods from Brooklyn, we are going to get rid of this impending child abuse charge that you have. Now, that would give him a clear reason and motive to jump full-fledged into the blood thing. And then that would also give him clear motive to switch on them and set these brothers up in order for him to get his impending charge removed. Now, before I go into the reasons that will let you know for sure that Tekashi 6ix9ine was an agent from the beginning and he was used as a tool for the feds, but in the midst of it began being used by the music industry to serve whatever agendas they have, I'm going to first say that the brothers from the 9 Trey gang were, of course, stupid. Stupid. This is the problem that black men have, whereas we create something, and even if it's good or bad, we allow outsiders to come in. We allow greed and selfishness to take over, and that destroys prominent black organizations. And if you're a criminal organization, it will get you taken down either indefinitely or faster if they were already on your ass. So Shotty and them guys who went down, they were stupid. They let an outsider in, and no one should even really be mad at Tekashi 6ix9ine. They should accept it for what it is and be wise about it and learn from it. And if you're in the streets, you should move accordingly. And if you're not in the streets, it doesn't even fucking matter. If you're a Tekashi 6ix9ine fan, then you're a Tekashi 6ix9ine fan. You know, it is what it is. But let's get into it. I have 3, 4, maybe 5 reasons that will let you know for sure that this man was a government agent. Now, the first thing, this man was at a pool with the Treyway guys, and these guys were hopping in the pool, having fun, and they told Tekashi to get in the pool. He says, nah, Treyway niggas don't swim, blood. Okay, when you're looking at it now, bruh probably had a wire on. And he didn't want to fuck his wiretap little situation up. Maybe he was scared he was going to get electrocuted. Maybe he was scared the wire was going to fall out of his pocket or wherever the fuck they had it at. So that's one situation. The next situation. The man was on TMZ a bunch of times participating in fights, knowing he can't fight. And it was seen that he's just trying to be a gangster, trying to be down for the set. But when you think about him being an agent, he was clearly participating in things to involve himself in stuff that he can go and tell the feds about. Like, we were here, I did this, and being a part of this situation, Shotty did this, or this guy did that, this guy did that. The boy was already in cahoots with the feds. Also, provoking shootings, saying you got 30 bands on some guy head who you're supposed to be beefing with while you're being recorded. That's a setup. That always was a setup, and I felt like that was a setup immediately as soon as I seen that. Because why would you do that? You know you're being recorded. You know that. Also, the shooting with Casanova, the fake shooting at Chief Keef. He was lining these brothers up the same way they would have a snitch or an undercover agent line dudes up and have them participate in crimes. So when the feds come, they can say, hey, we seen you doing this. We know for sure you did that. We have you on wiretaps talking about this crime, that crime, stuff like that. The man was already dealing with the feds. Third situation. Part of the situation where he tried to say he was going to put bans on the brother head, I believe he was talking to FBG Duck, or maybe he was talking to another dude from Chicago, and he asked him while he was being recorded, how many bodies have you caught? And in response, whoever he was talking to said, nah, bro, you the police. I knew he was already in cahoots with the police once he asked that. Because what if he would have said that and then the guy would have said, oh, I caught 7. That guy would probably be in jail right now for some type of conspiracy, or they would have tried to bring him down. But see, the Chicago dudes are smart. They already knew what that was going to be. They already knew. This is why none of them attempted to do anything to him. They have been dealing in shootings and dealing with police for the longest. So they knew. That's how I knew this man was a government agent ahead of time. And then the final reason that I have, he cut off all ties and seemed like he was trying to clean up his image at the perfect time, right before him and all the Treyway dudes went down. This man made a post saying anyone contacting any other person besides him about shows, anything, he fired his team, all this other stuff, you know, basically cutting all his ties off. It's like he got a heads up from somebody high above saying, hey, we about to close in on the Treyway gang. Get away from them now. Start severing ties. So he has one Breakfast Club interview where he's big blood, blood this, blood that. I'm the realest nigga. And then he has another Breakfast Club interview where he's condemning the Bloods. He doesn't say the word blood a million times after all his sentences no more. He's basically calling himself Danny and all this other shit. It was perfect. It was the perfect setup. He knew what was going to happen. He already knew he was gonna snitch because that was the only way he could get away from the child abuse charge. So then what happens? He cops the plea, he snitches on everyone, and then reports come out that his child abuse case gets dropped. He never copped out to that. It got dropped after he told, not before he told. It was a setup for the beginning, man. And with that being said, I rest my case. So he condemned all them dudes. He locked them all up, gave them about 100 years. And now he's just being used as a puppet by the music industry. And that's gonna last for as long as they think it's gonna last, you know. I'll give him 2 generous years. But really, maybe 6 to 12 months, because his album's gonna come out, people are gonna care for maybe a week, and then they're not gonna care anymore. And he's gonna have to resort to being negative and doing everything else but putting out good music